Well, there's also been a somewhat lukewarm reaction to de Ruyter's appointment from the market. The rand hardly moved and yields on Eskom bonds actually moved higher. That means investors could be viewing the appointment negatively because they see those bonds, the debt that Eskom raises as riskier. Well, Business Unity South Africa, however, says he is the right man for the job. To discuss, we're joined via Skype by the CEO of BUSA, Cas Coovadia. Cas, thank you very much for being with us. Hopefully you are right because this appointment has been made. Why are you positive?
Well, we're positive. Firstly, we're positive because an appointment has finally been made. A permanent CEO is now going to be in place. The person has business experience. He's worked at major companies. And our view is that what you need as a CEO of Eskom at this time in the crisis that Eskom faces is somebody with business knowledge, somebody who can actually be on the ground running and who can actually understand the challenges Eskom is facing from a business, operational, financial point of view, and is able to quickly implement the restructuring plans that the minister announced a few weeks ago, talk to funders about the possible restructuring of Eskom's debt, interact with suppliers, and do everything a business needs to do to actually become viable and sustainable. Now, all sorts of questions are being raised and can be raised, but I think that what we are in a situation right now where we needed the appointment, we needed a person with business acumen and experience. I think that we now need to help put our shoulders to the wheel and see how, certainly from BUSA's point of view, we can bring business expertise to bear to help if we need that help, and keep on tracking this so that if any flags do come up, we actually raise those very, very strenuously.
Yeah. I hear you, but some of those concerns are that he's not an engineer and that he has no experience in the public sector. Does that matter?
Well, I think him not being an engineer, while it would be great if he was an engineer, I think that what is needed here is that the recognition that Eskom does have engineers, has some very good engineers, and what he needs to do, he needs to ensure that he surrounds himself with the necessary skills from within Eskom to actually ensure that the various parts of the business are properly managed, are administered properly, and become sustainable. And for that, you need a business person. You need somebody who can restructure, you need somebody who can turn things around, and it's essentially an issue about turning this business around, whether it's an engineering business or another business. So I think that that's the sort of skills that are needed, and he has those sorts of skills. And the fact that he hasn't been in the public service, I think that it might be a good thing to have somebody from the business sector come in at this stage instead of somebody from the public service, so that this person can also look at things not as a public servant would look at it, but look at it as a businessman would look at it, and actually interact with the board and the shareholder to take some of the hard decisions that need to be taken.
Yeah. Skills aside, what about demographics? You heard, I think, what the National Union of Mine Workers is saying, a black person should have been appointed. The EFF says his appointment is racist. Any response to that?
Yeah, look, ideally, if we had a black person who put his or her hand up and had the necessary skills and the experience, that would be great. But I don't think we should make this a race issue. The bottom line is that Eskom currently is the most critical issue for the country. If we don't begin to deal with the crisis at Eskom, we actually, as a country, put ourselves on a very, very difficult footing, and it's primarily poorer people and the vast majority of people who don't have too many choices about whether they can get their electricity elsewhere, whether they can go into alternative grids and so on, that actually suffer at the end. So the priority should be to sort out Eskom, to implement the restructuring plan, to get the different businesses going, get transparency going so that we understand which parts of the business are working well and which not, so that we can start delivering electricity within the context of the IRP that was released recently, and we can actually get growth going, and we can ensure that ordinary citizens have a constant source of electricity.
Yeah.
And so that should be the issue. I don't think we should make this a race issue. We should say that we've now got a CEO, and we will expect the CEO to deliver within the context of the shareholder playing its appropriate role and the board playing its appropriate role.
Then, Cas, you've said that he needs government support. Is there any concern there? I mean, the previous Eskom CEO had health issues. It seemed like there were a lot of different forces that he had to deal with as well, unions, politicians, SAA, the former CEO's turnaround plan, according to the unions, not accepted by government. How do you think government right now should be and is dealing with SOEs?
Well, I think government should act as a shareholder. I don't think government should interfere in the operations of the business, nor should the board. The board should give the strategic direction necessary and the strategic leadership necessary. We have confidence in the process that government has adopted in putting the CEO into place. The process, we believe, has been a thorough one, so they must have confidence in the person they've put into place. But then they've got to have the confidence to allow the person to do his job, to take the necessary decision within the context of the multifaceted stakeholder groups that are involved in the whole Eskom saga. So the CEO has to take that multifaceted stakeholder environment into his plans, but he needs to take the hard decision. He has to depend on his board to support those decisions if the board thinks those decisions are valid, and government needs to ensure that he has government support, even if it means that some constituencies may not be happy. Everybody is not going to be happy here. We are in a situation where some choices have to be made and some trade-offs have to be made.
All right, thank you very much. That was the CEO of Business Unity South Africa via Skype, Cas Coovadia. Let's